So, hello everyone on this very special webinar with Dr. Jo Formosa, and she's going to give us a lot of inspiration and insight on a great topic, what is very needed right now. What I want to ask first, of course, we are recording this session, and if anyone objects against, then please tell me now. No? Okay, thank you very much. Well, welcome, Dr. Jo. It's really fantastic to have you here. We met a year ago.
Yes.
Yes, it is around a year ago. And, you know, it was the thing is, I was listening to this, our own training, Female Wave of Change training. And this teacher was sharing all about taking self-care and, you know, all these things. And I was, oh gosh, again, talking to me. I'm not doing the things I need to be doing. I feel all kinds of things, or I have to go visit the doctor, but I have to do something. And then I saw one of my friends on Facebook relate to what she was doing with you. And I said, well, you know, this is what I have to do. So we know each other very close as far as we have been doing this thing together, this whole, I think it has a month and a half or something like that we have been doing last year, and really helped me to become a lot healthier than I was. So thank you for that. In this time right now, you know, Female Wave of Change is a movement that wants to support as many people worldwide possible, to support them on the situation that we're in this worldwide pandemic. And that is really why I wanted to give you the floor and give us some insights on a totally different way of looking at the situation that we're in right now. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Jo Formosa, and I am an Ayurvedic practitioner. This is what I specialize in. I live in Brisbane, Australia. But I have a company called Health Dynamics, and we have a global company, not only my clinic here in Brisbane, but also internationally clients around the world. And my background is a little bit like diverse, because I was actually like an athlete myself, and I was training for the Olympics, and I started as a remedial therapist and specialized more in the sports injury, sports medicine side. So I worked with a lot of Olympic teams and a lot of sports injuries. And then I went to study Chinese medicine and acupuncture, because I realized that doing body work, I wouldn't be able to take care of my hands long term. And then I went to study, there was something missing in the acupuncture, Chinese medicine side. So I went to study Ayurveda, and Ayurveda is a complete science. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This starts to link everything together. And if anyone knows about Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, they both sort of work back in the lineage of fairly much parallel. They don't really know which one came first. And then I went to study neurostrategy. So I work with how people's mind and brain work, and how it actually affects disease and processes in the body. So that's a little bit of my journey. And I've been a practitioner for over 25 years now, where I've been working with thousands and thousands of clients around the world. Yeah.
Yes, and also online, because that is how we did our whole process. And people were always asking me, so how do you visit? I said, we don't, but I don't need to, because we're so much in contact, and that was really fantastic. So yeah. Okay, so I already sent you some questions. And you already explained a little bit about Ayurveda. But can you explain me a little bit more, so that people who have never heard of, been in touch with this special way of thinking? Can you just give the outlines of how it works?
Yeah, so what I'll do is also share my screen to explain it, because when you see it and explained, you'll go, oh, that makes so much sense. So Ayurveda is basically the science of life. So the science of life means Ayu is, basically so Ayu is, that science, and Veda, like the science of life. So this is how it all comes in together. So it actually links it back to why we actually are here in the first place, and everything links to nature. So Ayurveda goes, there is no one way to do health. You have to do a personalized path. So it breaks it into that everybody has a specific, what we call dosha, a specific body type. So Vata is more like the skinny minis. They're the ones who are running around all the time. They're the ones actually that are stressing a lot at the moment because their nervous system is in hyperdrive. They need to eat lots of times during the day, but they only can eat small meals because their digestive system is more weaker. But they don't put on weight easily. They lose weight easily. So some of these people in more stress will actually lose weight. They'll have more problems long term with dry skin, with digestive problems, bloating, constipation, imbalance of anxiety and worry. So these are some of the imbalances. When they're balanced, they're energetic. They're like a teacher's delight. They're like always going. You can't sit them still because they have too much energy. When you see a little child who's very vata, they're like a monkey climbing over everything. When you see an adult that's very vata, they are tapping their feet all the time, tap, 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 tap. Then you have the pitta. Pitta is the medium body. So these are more the athletic look. If you think about ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph, if some people know that way of thinking, they put on muscle easily. They are the ones who need to eat 3 meals per day and don't get in the road of a pitta when they're hungry because they will knock you out of the road, right? They're like what they call hangry. They get angry when they're hungry, right? They're more passionate, they're more deliberate, they're more like straight to the point. So they're a go-getter. At the moment, the pittas are like getting into action, getting everything sorted, getting this organized, getting everything done. They're rising up in this leadership. But when they're in balance, they'll be more frustrated and angry and overheated. So they'll have digestive problems like a lot of reflux or problems with overheating in their body or skin conditions or something like that. Then you have the third body type, which is more kapha. So they're more heavy build, more stuck, more low metabolism. The digestion can be a little bit weaker. They can put on weight easily. Now, they will be eating too much in this stress pressure. They'll be overeating, overcompensating to try to settle down the nervous system. So they might be gaining weight and gaining toxicity and gaining imbalance. They put on muscle easily, but they put on fat easily. These guys need to exercise and need to do a lot of exercise to actually burn the fat. But they need to only eat like 2 meals a day because most of the time they're not hungry. They're just eating because they're social beings. So this is more about that Ayurveda has a personalized path, and you look at the causative factor of disease, what's going with the imbalance of this client as a person to actually fix their problem. That's a little snapshot.
And this is how someone is built, is born.
You don't, like, once you have this, you can't change it. It's actually who you are.
Okay, and then what you have done is you built another thing, because health dynamics is even more extended than just the Ayurveda part.
Yes. So we linked also that to the mind type. So if you have a look at this, that there is, I don't know if your people know about the wealth dynamic side. So there's different energies in your mind. So we link the Chinese medicine and the Ayurveda together. So, for example, Ingo, you're a star profile, right? So you're a star profile and your body type's more pitta kapha. So like you have more drive, but also like the body can become more sluggish, right? If you are overworked, doing too many things, like going too crazy, and your star profile is got like not a lot of rest, then therefore, things will start to come in balance. And also with the star profile, if you're doing things which means you're out of flow, so if you're spending a lot of time on the left side, which is the number, the data, the systems, the bookkeeping and things like that, then you will also get more sluggish because you're not in flow. So it's about, and also if we do a health program for you, we can't give you too many things to do. It has to be a few little things with some real targets, and you need people involved. And so therefore it helps really well. If I'm dealing with someone who's over in the steel side, I have to just map out the data of the plan, and they need to know the science behind it, and then they will follow it. So every single person does health differently, but there's 80 different mind and body types available. So we have a special gift for your people as well, because we want to give them the health dynamics test, which is normally $97, so they can get an insight of that. So they can at least make sure they're set up for what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah, it was really clear a lot for me, just reading what was going on. also seeing that it was not very healthy, but also, knowing what I should do, and also the eating program. I was always advised to do, I was several times a day was making the vegetable smoothies, and I was always eating salads and things like that. And the wrong thing for me was eating those things, going back to soups and warm food and things like that. So it was kind of easy to change everything that I was doing. Yeah. Well, Ojo, for us, for right now, because this is a whole system that is behind your way of thinking, and it's really amazing. Is we, of course, right now we live in this time of Corona, and this worldwide pandemic. And from your perspective, how do you look at this virus, this thing going on?
So, I mean, with the coronavirus, I've explained to lots of my clients in different webinars, there are actually 7 different coronaviruses. This is the 7th one, right? So there's been ones like SARS and MERS before this, which was really high acute respiratory infection. And then there's other ones, which is more like a common cold, common flu, but it was also a coronavirus. So most of us possibly have had one form of coronavirus, but this one in particular is highly contagious. So like I explained to some other on my webinar, I'll just share my screen again. If you have a look at, people aren't dying from the coronavirus, right? Oh, wait a second, I just lost my link that I had. Wait 1 second, I'll bring it back. People aren't dying from the coronavirus. People are dying from their immune system not coping with the coronavirus, right? So there are lots of things that are happening around the world. And when you see how things are working, we have something called the health spectrum test. And also you can do this for free. So Neem or Jonah, if you can just put the link into the chat. Health spectrum is something that Ayurveda talks about as well in the traditional text. When they explain disease is in 6 stages, right? Which is basically these lower stages here from accumulation down. The above stages is what we call mindfulness, which means your good health and above, like you're eating accordingly to your body type, you're exercising for mind and balance, and everything is just working. Your body is just working. Your body was designed to fight disease. It knows that lots of these things coming into your system all the time. The people are having the trouble are the people who are down in the bottom here, which is in the disease level, which is disease, which is red level or infrared. So I'll explain it just quickly. Basically, when something happens, your gut is the seat of all disease, right? So if you're not eating well, if you've got accumulated of toxins there, so the toxins are accumulating. So the stomach's job is to digest the food. And if it can't digest the food with something that we call a digestive fire, which is Agni, the food sits there. And this is where people have digestive problems, where they feel heavy, or children say, no, mummy, I have a sore tummy. So their body is trying to solve it and digest it. Unfortunately, when we become adults, we stop listening to those signs, right? Because we've lost the intelligence, we've lost the connection of that. So that's the first stage, which is accumulation. There's no problem. There's no doctor can fix you. There's just an imbalance. Aggravation is when it starts to mix with what I talked about before, which was dosha, which was the vata, the pitta, or the kapha. Now that's a body type, but it's also classed as an element in Ayurveda. So vata is more air and ether. So if it mixes with that, people feel bloated and constipated and this feeling of stuckness, like circulation is blocked. If they have it mixed with pitta, they have inflammation like reflux or indigestion or something painful in their body. If it's mixed with kapha, there's a feeling of nausea, like I don't want to eat, or congestion in your body. So again, most of the time what we do, I don't see clients at that point. It would be fantastic, but we see them once they have a big laundry list. So they still don't do anything. Then the next stage is spreading. So if it's sitting there in the digestive system, the body says, let me spread this around the body and share it, because your body is designed to do what? Is to survive. So it spreads it around the lymphatic system, and then you get people feeling like, I feel sluggish, I feel heavy, I've got heavy feet, heavy legs, I got foggy brain, I just don't feel well. but I can't explain why. They don't know why. They don't even click that, oh my God, it might be the diet or it might be the lifestyle strategies. They don't click to that problem. Then stage 4 is when people start to pay a bit more attention. So stage 4 is localization. So there's a weak area in your body. So it might be in your skin, so you have skin condition. It might be in your joints, so you have pain in your joints, or you have degeneration in your joints, or you have like, like acidity or something starting to happen, more like ulcers and different things are starting to come up, right? Again, the doctors don't have anything that's saying you have this disease. It's just a symptomology and it's stuck, and it comes and goes. So the next one is stage 5, when now you go to the doctor, they do all the results, they do the MRIs, they do the blood tests, and they say you've got high cholesterol, or you've got diabetes, or you've got blood pressure issue, or you've got heart condition. Now, what can they do? They can now give you a drug. So these people are the ones who are suffering in the coronavirus because they've already got complications. They already have a thing that their body can't digest another foreign element to come in. It's compromised. And chronicity is worse, which is autoimmune cancer. And we're seeing more and more of this today. So the coronavirus is more, there's viruses always coming into our system. This one is highly contagious. So they're trying to lock it down. But everybody could fight it if the health system or people's health. So it's shining a big torch, a big like fire or big lamp, and saying, hey, listen, I think the earth, you guys need to take more care of your body.
Yes,
does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a strong message. And I think that this is something that we all know, but the thing is we forget about it. And if your car has a problem, it's easy. You call the repair guy, and it's going to be fixed. But with your health, it's different.
Actually, it's more than that, because people actually book their car in twice a year, usually for like oil, grease and change, because they don't want it to get to that problem. But people don't think they need to do that to themselves, right? Because once it gets to spreading level, if you haven't detoxed at spreading level, you are set up for disease. Disease is coming because you haven't cleaned out your body at least twice a year. And that's super important.
Well, I'm happy that I came to you last year because I was stage 5.
Yes.
According to the test, I was at stage 5, but within 6 weeks, I was at stage 2.
Wow.
Yeah, that was very good. Yeah, so it was. It really helped me. So, and I'm very happy. That's I am at that phase right now.
That's fantastic.
I know, of course, that from your perspective, and there's all kinds of things happening right now in the world, and governments taking decisions. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea how to fight it. They're overwhelmed, of course, of the number of people that is affecting, and there are all kinds of course, all kinds of opinions on who should be doing what and what they're doing crazy. Just a little perspective or how we're dealing with it. And Hengame, I see you raising your hand. So, or you can also ask your question in the chat box if you want.
Okay.
So how are we dealing with it?
So you want to know how we should be dealing with it?
Well, yeah, how you feel.
Yeah. Okay. So
dealing with it.
So one of the things I've explained to all my clients is preventative is better than cure, right? So all of our clients are on an immune booster, so we give particular herbs to make sure that they're taking care of fighting virus if it comes into your system. So all my family is on it, all my clients are on it, and all those types of things. So definitely that. Really take advantage of what's going on. So many of my clients say to me, oh my God, I wish I was at home and I could spend time cooking and I could spend time planning things. I can spend time having a good routine, and no, I've got to work at this time, and then it's taking up so much travel and all those types of things. So it's about creating a plan, and going, okay, right, this is what is happening. This is what the government, you can't fight the facts. So if you start getting really crazy in your mind, you'll have all other problems going on. So we can't fight the facts. So what we've got to do is, what can we control? we can control our immune system, we can control our health. So take control of that and put like a plan in place. We're also going to give your people, I'll just share my screen again, something that, you know, it's like a PDF that we have, which is the secrets to improving your health and fighting off disease, right? So this is something that we put together, which is education, and being proactive is much better than waiting for your mind to think, oh my God, when am I going to get it, or what's going to happen? And then your mind does crazy things, and guess what you focus on is what will come, as opposed to if you focus on what you want, then that will come, right? And so the power of that positive thinking as well. And then we look at like the different things that you should be taking, like probiotics. We look at zinc and vitamin D, which is super important because some people are trapped inside, so they're definitely not getting as much sun exposure. So what to do in that, because that fights your system as well. And herbs to improve your immunity. And these are the ones that we talk about. We've got ones particularly for the virus, particularly for people who have more asthma condition, because the coronavirus basically sits in the upper respiratory for 4 days. So if you think you have something like steaming and steam inhalation, because the virus is very volatile to steam, to heat. So if you can, you know, fight it off. If you have issues within the lungs, make sure it doesn't get to lungs, because in the around the fourth day, it starts to move and forms plaques in your lungs. And this is where it's going into septic and pneumonia and things like that. This is when people need to be on ventilators. But, you know, things like cough and ulcerative toxico, I never not travel with Virofight, because even when I'm traveling internationally, if I get something, I take high doses, and within 1 day, the virus is gone. You know, so these are the things. So just taking it as a maintenance dose. And then here's some lifestyle things that you can do. What should you be eating? Having these spices. Have your pantry as your medicine, and really come down into the, you know, what you can eat, what you shouldn't be eating, all these sugary foods and things like that. And we've even got a little tea. I know you're very familiar with the CCF tea, which is, you're probably drinking it right now. Good girl. Putting that in place as well. And then the lifestyle strategies that you could be doing. So we can make this available for your people as well, so they can see some great insights of what to do too.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I found it this morning in my email, so I thought, oh yes, this is something that we can distribute. Hangame,
Yeah.
please, your question.
What is the difference between chronicity and disease? So disease is when there is like a problem within, you're getting blood test results, which is saying, I have diabetes, I have high cholesterol, I have X, Y, and Z. Chronicity is when your body is fighting and attacking its good immune cells. So this is autoimmune disease and cancer. These two conditions is when the body actually turns on itself and stops actually fighting as your immune system. It's actually attacking your healthy cells. So this is when the body's becoming confused. You can come out of these, you can come into remission, but you can never cure them. You can never cure cancer or autoimmune disease. You can only come out of remission and come up the spectrum, but you've always got to keep an eye on them. So any client I have with any of those things, we always keep them on a dose of certain things to take care of their immune system, so they never get compromised again. So, but good question.
Mom Yvonne.
Thank you so much. This is so enriching, and it makes us think a lot, Jo, about what we do every day. I have a history of trauma, and yes, and I just want to know your views on colon cleansing, because yeah. And then the second thing is whatever has been recommended, does it work with any blood group? Maybe just the context is that my challenge in looking at what is available there has been just to align with my condition and the medication that I'm on. Like, for instance, I can see now with the corona, they say hot water with lemon, but what happens when you've got ulcers?
Yeah, good question. So whenever you have a condition, right, we always look at the constitution first. What is your body type, and what is the imbalance? What is causing the imbalance to that body type? So first of all, in Ayurveda, we always move ama. Ama is toxins. So any disease has a toxic element to it. So toxins has to be liquefied and moved out regardless. Then we increase Agni. Agni is the digestive fire to help with the digestion work. And there's 13 Agnis in the body. The first Agni is the digestive Agni, and there's Agni to all the different tissues. So the tissue needs to build in energy and then digest that toxin and liquefy it and eliminate it out. So, this is super important when you're trying to work out what food is causing imbalance and how do you heal that and cleanse that at the same time. So it's quite a specific plan, but detoxification is always the way to do it. With colon cleansing, Ayurveda doesn't believe in colon cleansing, it believes in enemas. Enemas done with oils and herbs, because when you use water, it's more vata aggravating, and the colon is of a vata organ. And when you have a vata organ and you disrupt the vata organ, it causes more problems. So you want to slowly liquefy and move it and use the herbs from the decoction, because your colon is the quickest way to get herbs into your whole system. So it's a gateway, and it basically goes from the colon's attachment, it goes to the first cell of the immune system, is one cell away from the colon wall. So if anything's permeating out of the colon and is toxic, you're basically given toxin material straight to the blood to feed all the other organs and to basically affect the other organs. So you must clean out the gut and the digestive system to cleanse and nourish all the other channels. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
And your other one was on blood type.
Yes.
Ayurveda doesn't look at on blood type, it looks on body type, because the age of 2, you can get a complete blood transfusion and you can change your blood type. So the blood type diet is particularly on antigens and what comes in and out of your body, but Ayurvedic body types is more specific to what's going on with the energetics of that person, because those elements never change.
Thank you so much. That's so beautiful.
No worries. My pleasure.
Anyone else? Any more questions? So right now, what you also see, stress is going a lot with people. There's fear, there's panic, there's stress, there's anything. What that is, we pay a lot of attention with our sessions, and it's meditation or things like that. It's can you give any advice on that?
Yeah, so the biggest advice I would say is that people are having what we call a pre-traumatic stress, right? Which is the images they're creating in their mind of what is going to happen that hasn't happened. So therefore it's creating everything and all the anxiety and all the different things as well. So I would say that, we've been through many things before, and there'll be many more things to come, right? There is always yin and yang. There is always the good with the bad. Opposites are complementary, right? Hot and cold, girl and boy, there's always complementaries of everything. So what is the complementary of this? Right now, all the blessings that we're having in the earth, all the healing that the earth is having. We've been talking about climate change, and there's definite changes in climate. There's many people's lives being saved at the moment because there's less pollution and there's less of so many different things, but we're only focusing on the virus and the people are dying, or we're focusing on, I don't have my freedom, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. So while you're focusing on what you don't have, change the focus on what you do have right now. What are all the things that you've wanted to have, and what are all the opportunities that are happening, and put some energy and effort on that. So that will help as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And what you mentioned about things healing, I've seen things heal. And for instance, with my mother, and I think most of you worry about our older generation also, my mother is 85 and she's on her own. She lives on her own. So, and I cannot go to visit her. And actually, you know, we check on her daily on what is happening. She has had a cold for I don't know how long, and she has had pain in her eyes and red eyes and you know, tearing eyes and all kinds of stuff. It's gone. It is
Wow.
so many things are gone because I think the air is cleaner, and
they've already predicted in China 77,000 people will not die this year because of the pollution.
yeah.
77,000 people. So I think there's a question from Tabella.
Hello?
Yes, thanks. I have a question. One of the experiences we've had in our country 26, 27, 30 years ago, some of us have experienced a similar situation where there was a state of emergency because of, you know, the political situation, and we would be locked down, similarly as what is happening right now. So how can one help people that this lockdown may be resurfacing certain feelings or certain emotions from then? Because it's been interesting, you know, the younger generation that never experienced it are like, oh, okay, I don't like lockdown, but it's happening. The older generation, you seeing how people are responding, you know, in either there's children that are saying, we're seeing our parents arguing more. We're seeing older people not following the rules. It's funny. It's not the young ones that are not staying at home. It's the older people that aren't following the rules. And then you realize that it's bringing old emotions from that time. So if I come across somebody that's going through that, how can I help them and support them during this time?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. There's a lot of things like what I talked about last time is what we focus on and where our energy will go, right? So it's all about also saying and expressing to people, we can't control everybody, but unfortunately people are breaking the rules, which actually may cause this problem to go longer. The reason Chinese got it under control really, really quickly is because they are a communist country and they locked everything down and they sealed up and welded rooms and all those types of things, and they shut it all down because they knew that they had to do that. The ones that have more freedom in the country, they don't want to take that away because they think that that's going to cause more stress, and it possibly can, but they're also pleading for everybody to follow the rules. But there is always going to be people who are not going to follow the rules. So then, you know, just saying to them and having a conversation, please be aware of the rules. We want this to finish soon. So the more we all cooperate, this is how quickly it can happen. But again, it's inevitable. We're never going to be able to manage everybody. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Well, I see Mommy Von. Do we have time for one more question now? Yeah, that's the last one. Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Sorry, Joe. I'm struggling with this balance of left and right brain. So my tumor and all the drama was on the left brain. So from the natural sources that you've given us, is there anything that could assist me? Also, do we have any of the things that are stronger in keeping people calm?
Yeah, so some of the herbs that we have actually prescribed as well is really good. Meditation, pranayama, breathing technique, you know, it's all really good. Some of these things, there's so much out there now to look at the calmness. Stop watching the news. Get the update for only 15 minutes and that's it. You must have the good, positive stuff that's going in. Otherwise, if that's all the sources that you've got coming in, that's where your focus will go. Get the update to stay with the facts, but the rest of the time start to pour your brain with all these beautiful, wonderful things that you're going to be focusing on and the opportunities that will come from it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
And focus on the future. This morning I was having a conversation with Josephina. We don't see her, but I was in a call this morning with her, and we were talking about focusing on the future. There will be a time after Corona, and it is good to, just, there will be life. There will be, and how do you want the world to look like? Now is also time for change. Really, people realizing that we have not been doing the right things, and that we can make a change and we can make a difference.
Definitely. I think this is a big wake-up call from Mother Nature saying, hey, listen, you guys got to listen to me. And if it took this to listen to me, then please do it. And now everybody's listening. So it shows that how the world could actually listen in one unity, one voice, and they are doing it, So if they can do that when there's tragedy, what can they do when there's like something really positive to do as well? Yeah.
Thank you very much for your wisdom and your inspiration. I know you have another meeting right after, so we knew we didn't have a lot of time. I think we have all learned a lot, and we're looking
happy to, if you have a Q&A session you want, we can jump on again. If you have lots of people asking questions, then we can hold a Q&A together. So if you want to do that, quite happy as well.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very, very much. And
my pleasure. We'll send you all the gifts and things like that. So we'll send you the immune enhancing and also the heart dynamics test for people who opt in for that as well.
Yes, fantastic.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
You.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.